Welcome back to Keep On Collecting. Last week, my son and I headed down to Melbourne to celebrate his 21st birthday. Predominantly, we went to watch our Central Coast Mariners football team playing the Australia Cup. Sadly, they got beaten. However, there's lots to do in Melbourne. We went to the zoo and we went down on a cruise down the Yarra, and we went to Sea Life and seen Deadpool. There's also a shop called Lobo's Collectibles, full of vintage toys. So we had a couple of hours in there. So come and check out what we've seen. All right, let's start off with some crash dummies. Lots of boxed items here, play sets, vehicles. This is in no particular order. I've kind of rocked up and just started filming random things. Here's a shelf of Toxic Crusaders. This is for the 90s toy audience. Andrew and I aren't too much into these lines, but they're beautiful, like very toyetic. They are. We'll come down to some loose crash dummies now. Very cool. We'll leave this line to people like Dino at Geek Strong and Scotty Crusher. I know those guys have got some good collections of crash dummies. Next we have some Street Sharks. The one at the back rocks with his guitar and his real hair. That's the only one I've got. But you can see there's a massive range here of Street Sharks. Moving on to the Western Shelf, Butch and Sundance early years. They look amazing. Legend of the Lone Ranger. Got some random Hook thrown in here and some Robin Hood Prince of Thieves figures. And this was their Indiana Jones. So this is their vintage line. You can see some tote carded and Cairo Swordsman. Then as we move down, we've got the Hasbros from 2008. And of course then we move into the 6-inch line, which was released last year. Back there is an R2-D2. Couldn't quite get into the picture. Some of our favourites here, there's Captain Planet, Swamp Thing, and Centurions. So much toy goodness, Lobos. You've got to get yourself in here. There's some Visionaries there too. Incomplete, but it's pretty cool to see any type of vintage toy represented in Lobos. Here's a favourite shelf. Dungeons and Dragons. It's the Fortress of Fangs. Now back there is an old LJN. It's Presto from Portugal. Maybe he was picked up, who knows? But yeah, lots of cool LJN figs there. That's a Zuru Dragon. I'm not sure what it's doing there, but it does fit in. Some box Dungeons and Dragons and carded. Very cool to see. Alright, here is Battlestar Galactica. I'll put that Ovion next to the Land Ram, just to show you the scale of the Land Ram. But lots of Battlestar Galactica stuff. Lots of it on card as well, as you can see. Some 12-inch figures, I think, from later on, I think in the mid-2000s. But really cool to see all this vintage Battlestar Galactica. Tigerman there. Some Tron, there's from NECA back there, signed by Bruce Boxleitner. Some cool cards, which I didn't get this time around, but I think I will next time I'm there. And of course Flash Gordon. We've got the Mattel line from I think 79. Oh, everybody's favourite, G.I. Joe. Well, it's Andrew's and I's. There's a lot of people who love G.I. Joe, but look at the selection. Just rows and rows. Some complete. I think all these ones up here, they might be complete. And in good condition as well. But great to see so many Joes. I think the next shelf were, though in good condition, but they weren't complete. I think Andrew picked up a couple of G.I. Joes for Andrew. I'll show you at the end of the video. I even got one for myself that I've been looking at for quite a few years, and he's already been in shot. Not too many loose vehicles. I don't know if that's because there was not too many. I guess you don't know where they come in and they're quick to leave the shelf, or they just don't get a lot of loose vehicles in. So there's some new G.I. Joes from I think around the 2010 film. There's some cards there, file cards as well we could pick up. It's a bit of a mishmash shelf. There's a couple of loose vehicles there and some more cards. And here we go to the last shelf of G.I. Joes. Look at that. Those vehicles, there's the Havoc, love it. The Conquest, the Locust. Some cool little vehicles there. Alright, now this was something special on the counter. The Crocodile Hunter. This was a toy line, I guess just to celebrate Steve Irwin and Terry Irwin. And you can see a lot of it's carded there, but look at this. Looks like their Land Cruiser, the Crocodile Hunter on the side. Watched that last night, gee. Yes, I'm guessing this was made back in the day of the Dark Crystal. I think the Dark Crystal was 84. Choose Your Own Adventure books. There's one for Scott Crusher back there. Home Alone. There's a couple of Michael Jackson outfits back there too. These are all in glass cases and they're locked, so I can't ask. Well, I could ask to get in there, but I think for filming purposes, there's an original Turbo Man there. I know that because they had a Funko one on the shelf elsewhere. So there's some more modern Weird Science figures there from Super 7. Some cool little cups there. I was trying to get in there and get these horror pets. I don't know too much about them. Some old clamshell videos. Just a mishmash of everything. Coneheads. They had 5 figures there. I think the series had 6. Big Jim Scramble van back there. Not sure what this monster is. He's familiar. It's not the Gobbledoc. Captain Caveman. I was going to get Captain Caveman until I realised it was 99, so I moved on. Hero Gladiators from Bluebird. Some of these, there's a skateboard smack ups back there. Sorry, Scotty, I didn't get a good shot of those. There's Alf. God, Alf, man. Still got the talking one up there. All right, moving on to, it's an A-Team. There's a Mego Dukes of Hazzard General Lee car. Look at that. Some Mr. T 18 cards, some Mr. T party bags there. Moving down, this is Dukes of Hazzard, so there is some carded ones back there. The Mego made those. I almost purchased this, but then it's a Chips, but I think that's a Sarge from Chips, or a Knight Rider. Yeah, but there was a lot broken on that, so I passed on it for a $200 price range. Now, there's some carded Soldiers of Fortune there from Galoob. We'll come back to this piece right in front of us, but that's from Blue Thunder. And there's Blue Thunder itself. What a piece. There's a boxed Chuck Norris there. I forgot about that. There's an Evel Knievel. One of the A-Team bad guys. I think that's a Arnold Schwarzenegger commando figure. He's got no pants on. I'm close to that Jeep. That MASH Jeep, 200 for 195 for that box. Yeah, it looks amazing. That may have to come home. There's a couple of interesting MASH figures. There's a MASH helicopter there in the middle. No Klinger in the pink dress. That is the only one I am missing. Should have bought one about 3 years back for $100, shouldn't I? There's some MASH cards as well. Here is the Glasslite Blue Thunder vehicle from Brazil. Glasslite did a whole range of these for Blue Thunder. They also did MacGyver, Star Wars. Oh, quick. Look, it's Titus. There's also Scuba Attack and Tower Tools and Cliff Climber. And there's Megator in the far corner, the big giants of the vintage line. Only available in Europe. And here's I think is it a laser power or a laser light Skeletor. This one in front is got some repro parts, the laser power He-Man. That's the proper laser power He-Man back there. And you can see the price tag, 3,000 Australian. But these, it's great to see them all here. And coming up here is something you very rarely see. Last time I was here, I had to touch it, but that's a box Eternia, so it's out of its box. I think Dennis has put all the parts to it in there. It's complete. The price tag is, I think, 6,000 Australian. All the track being so brittle is hidden away there in the box still. It's great to see all this vintage goodness for Masters of the Universe. So much boxed toys. Oh, that's a Conan figure there, sitting right. So I think I would have loved to get that Conan figure too. I think if I wanted to get a vintage carded representation of Masters, I would come here. There's just so much to choose from here. Look at it all. I think he's even got some loose cards, like card backs by themselves, so you could potentially just get a card back. See just there. And we've got some She-Ra, Princess of Power. Oh, mini comics are there too. Yep. You've got to get yourself to Lobos if you're down in Victoria, down in Melbourne. There's a Claudine from Princess of Power line. Oh, here's another vintage favourite, Dino Riders from Tyco. Wow. So they had these ones on the front counter. You can see there's the Brontosaurus. Oh, first though, let's go to the Karate Kid from Coleco. Wow, that's there, that's the training centre. That was massive, that was incredible. I mean, you can see the figure down there, it's like a 6-inch figure. How big that is. Oh, some Arco, yeah, the other world. Had to get right in there and then I had to focus. But that's the play set there. I think he wants about 700 for that. And here's some of just the loose figures. Here's couple of boxed renditions. And coming down, I think just got some, well, there's some dragonflies from Galoob, and we've also, of course, these are the loose renditions of Bravestar. So you can see them there. Bravestar lining up someone. Oh, there was a special cabinet at the end with Power Lords. Revel, I think it was Revel is Revell. They usually made model kits, but then they had this toy line called Power Lords. So there was these two vehicles. And this is not a car, so I think this is a diorama being built by somebody. Very clever, the way it's all been displayed. And a lot of these figures are complete and in very good order. Some of them very hard to come by. You can see the price tag there of $250, and you know they are an expensive toy line to get, and a couple more of the smaller vehicles there. No cartoon for these, just there was only a comic book series. So this was a special section, now for the Dino Riders. There was a whole cabinet of Dino Riders, so that was the Brontosaurus one there. So basically you had 2 boxed Brontosaurus and 2 boxed T-Rexes. Just incredible. Oh, this one I could open. We'll have a peek inside. Look at that. Sorry about the glare off the plastic. Man, imagine having one of these in the collection. Wow. Cool little diorama set up here for the Ice Age. I think this is later in the line, Ice Age. We only had a couple of the Dino Riders, so I've got those back into my collection. So they're just so fragile now. And Andrew will tell you that he had a chance to purchase the whole Dino Rider set for $700 quite a few years ago, but passed upon it. Ask him about it. It's one of his toy collecting regrets. Yeah, just a massive display. Look at it all. I don't know if that's in working order. Bunch of Lucy figures chucked in there in a bowl. It's like $19 each. Okay. Quetzalcoatlus, that's the one I've got. And thrown amongst that, of course, is the Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, yes, from Tyco, which were released a few years after the Dino Riders had ended, but they used the same moulds. There's a ship. I don't know the name of that ship. It's cool little dioramas they've chucked in there. There's a T-Rex without his gear. Oh, this is for you, Peter Gordon McKinnon, PGM. I know you want one of these. Oh, well, let's get into something a lot of people love, and that's Ninja Turtles. Look at all these vehicles. Now, I don't know too much about Ninja Turtles, but there is a lot of vehicles here and play sets. There's 2 blimps, Blimp 1 and Blimp 2. I didn't realise they did that. You can see a Killer Bee and a Needle Nose there. Of course, the Technodrome and the Sewer play set. Golly, incredible. So here's some carded versions. Those Battletoads, I think, were being sold only as a set. I imagine this must be worth a bit. Metal Mutants Turtles, wow. That looks pretty fancy. Just go to the loose figures now. Vanilla Ice, because doesn't he love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I guess that's why his figure's there. Look at that mutant body, oh my god. I can't remember the price tag on that. I think that was $600-700 if I remember rightly. A few loose ones. I'm not sure if a lot of people buy these. That's why these numbers of loose turtles didn't seem to be as great as I thought they would be. And is that because they're just so popular and they fly off the shelves? I don't know. Is that a Foot Cruiser there? I think it is. Collector case, wow. Collector case is such a cool 80s idea. Well, that might have been 90s, but they were still going strong in the 90s, those collector cases. Just a small Lost in Space display here. It was Trendmasters that did these back in the day. Didn't do all the characters. Oh yeah, randomly there was a Bash at the Beach playset. Ah yes, that is Jupiter 2. Not a bad price, $270 for that, for boxed. Just a small selection of Hasbros all set up there. Oh, now this is interesting. The Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, that was a Kiss record, like an LP. So there must have been a special one for the song that was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. There's a Beetlejuice figure back there, that's what I'm trying to focus on in there. Some more Hook randomly thrown in there, but this is supposed to be predominantly Ghostbusters, I think. With the Ecto-1. Not too many figures here. Oh, for Ghostbusters, but look, Supernaturals. I couldn't even remember which ones I had. I know I've got all the tall ones, but the little ghostlings, I'm not sure I've got 4 of the 8. So I just had to leave them on this occasion. Some more modern Ghostbusters figures. Cool Frisbee there. Yeah, so this is all the vintage figures I had there. Not as many as I thought. Alright, Superpowers. Actually, the prices here weren't too bad, I thought, especially for the ones that have capes. The Joker, I thought here, he's complete for 150, I thought might have been a bit excessive. But like that Aquaman there with his trident is really hard to get, so I thought 99 wasn't too bad for him. And the Hall of Justice. Great toy line. Not sure why Superman needs a Justice jogger. I was confused by that, being Superman. But anyway, it's a great toy for kids. Another collector case back there for Superpowers this time. I think this is Calabax Bomber. This is bigger than I thought. I've never seen that in person. That is huge. Alright, Inspector Gadget. I couldn't get over the price of this. It's by DIC, I think was the brand who made that car. That's $1,000. I'm going to have to go and check my cars, see if it's complete. So here are these big Inspector Gadget dolls. I can't remember the prices on these. I didn't really focus on the pricing too much in those. Oh, so we're just going down each shelf now. So we've got some Skeleton Warriors there, some Bucky O'Hare. That's another Conan figure there. And of course, Biker Mice from Mars. I'm not sure what this big half ape, half mutated ape was, but it was pretty cool. There's some Hercules, Independence Day spaceship. There's little bits of everything. James Bond Jr. car. I didn't focus on that. I don't know why I didn't film that. But I saw this and I probably just got a little bit distracted with that 007 doll. I can't remember who made those. Premiere something. And then the Bond girls. Too much glare. Sorry about the glare in this. It's hard to see them properly. A couple of more big sets up there. See the Air Max there? Now that's an interesting line. It's a new line I wasn't too sure about. Same as this castle here. Off to the left of the Hive. The Hive was there last time. I think they won about $3,500 for the Hive. Oh, and now we've got some more Brave Star. Just trying to pull out I couldn't pull out the boxes individually. They seemed to be a little bit stuck together. So I couldn't see the prices of these. And then there was just a section of Lord of the Rings. It's huge. Had Balrog up the top there. And all these sets of figures all in their box. These are becoming highly collectible. Because when you think of it, these were released by Toy Biz back, I think, in the early 2000s, weren't they? So they're over 20 years old, some of these now. Green, I think it's a red and a blue series. Look at them all. Damn. Incredible. Oh, and then the back wall. Oh. So there's some Ninja Turtles and there's lots of Toy Biz superheroes there. Oh yeah, and they've got some statues. So there's I love that Battlestar Galactica set and where the guys in their whites up the top there. Incredible. There's everything, it's a big mishmash. Down here's some Dick Tracy. I had all the Dick Tracys, so that was cool just to leave them there. All these Marvel superheroes from Toy Biz in the 90s. Ah, brilliant. Some Batman over there. I think they were all fairly priced too, which is really good to see. And that's just all Star Wars, all modern Star Wars. So these are obviously the later ones here, the vintage collection, but over to the left you'll see the Power of the Force lines over there. I didn't want to focus too much on the modern stuff, but yeah, it's an incredible section of the wall. This is at the back. So yeah, this is looks like a 730. This is for Battle of the Planets. I'm not too familiar with the name of the ship, but yeah, there you go. Thought that was interesting. It's a Viper, Robbie the Robot, B9 Robot, Blake 7 ship. I can't see the price point on that either. A few Thunderbirds, Thunderbird 2 sets there. A lot of the dolls from Matchbox era and Colton era. Oh, this is from the new series, I think, from a couple of years ago. I think that bottom Thunderbird 2 is from the movie, which wasn't widely received well. There's a random Sequest DSV figure there. Oh, there's another Jupiter 2. Looks like a bit of a battered box though, that one. Alright, so this is for all the Star Wars fans. So that side is all boxed, Power of the Force, new stuff, but I just want to take you through what they've got set up here. It's dioramas. Every scene in Star Wars has been created here. And every figure and every playset, every vehicle is represented in these dioramas. So it starts from the first scenes in Star Wars and ends in the Return of the Jedi final scenes. So just enjoy these. I don't think any of these are for sale. There's another section where you can buy all the Star Wars figures. I'm sorry for the Star Wars fans that I didn't film too much vintage, but let's face it, we all know what's out there. I just thought that these scenes here, all these dioramas would be interesting to look at for the Star Wars fans, the way that Dennis and the crew at Lobos have set up these. So now we're into The Empire Strikes Back, starting in Hoth. Couple AT-ATs. Man, this is why we army build, isn't it? Look at all the snow troopers and the Hoth rebel troopers. So many of them. There's the flying pickle. Yeah, it's brilliant. Alright. Bounty hunter scene. Dagobah. Cloud City now. Of course, the loading pan solo. To slide one. The rescue of Luke. Cloud City. Moving on to Return of the Jedi. On Tatooine. Jabba the Hutt. This is, as kids, this is the way we would have set it all up. Thinking the floor, this was what we had. Oh, this is amazing, this. Wow. Impressive army building. I'm not sure, I thought I heard them say everything was for sale, but I think they've probably got enough that if you bought something out of these diorama sets that they could replace them. We're on to Endor. Alright, it's impressive. So I said impressive a few times. A couple of the fighters, the B-Wing, the Y-Wing. There's even an A-Wing in there somewhere. Is that it? And that's the final scene there. But there was more. Well, these from V. So I've got the figures. They were Lobos Collectibles Special. But I think someone has created these specifically for Lobos. Just some interesting sets. Of course, the Beatles and Kiss there. Last Starfighter. Down here it is. Last time I was here a year ago. That Love Boat was there. Oh, we've got to go Godzilla. That's right. I had to do Godzilla. But also Harryhausen. So you can see, I wanted to get this Minoton, but the bottom of the spear was broken, so I had to leave it. It's a real shame. I'd seen it in a video earlier in the week and thought that's coming home with me. There's another Butch and Sundance, the early years, from Kenner, boxed. I'm not sure what I'm looking at there, to be honest. I've just seen some skeletons from Harryhausen and got excited. I was going to... should have probably asked them to remove it. $400. It's not graded, it's just in some acrylic, but never been removed from its card. Just some King Kong and Kaiju, his Anguirus. Some new Godzilla from Jakks, and there's some from Bandai. I think there's Trendmasters back there. Where's the Trendmaster? I think they're coming up. See the back there from the mid-90s. Got a few of those. Those cards, $50 a pack for King Kong cards. I had to pass this time around. But that DVD box set back there for King Kong and Godzilla 62 would have been fantastic. Wow. Anyway, so we moved down. I think this is a shelf below. A bunch of $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman. Some Ego, Planet of the Apes. And at the very bottom, and also at the end of the video, is some Mask for all the Mask fans out there. All right, welcome back to the toy room. Here's the small haul that we got at Lobo's. Look, it was a few weeks ago we did Collecticon, so look, I'm happy with this small haul. Got some Ninja Turtle cards for the boys, Dean, Dan and Scott. Andrew wanted Shipwreck, Topside and Chuckles to add to his collection. And I've got Globulus. I've wanted him for a while. Presto is the LJN from Portugal. It's missing a top of its hat and a little bit of its shoe, but look, it's a really rare figure. That's an Exchanges from Akamus Toys in the 80s. I also picked up just card sets for Magnum, Mash and Tron for myself. That's fine. That's happy with that. If you're down in Melbourne, in Thornbury, you've got to go and check out Lobo's Collectibles. It's fantastic. You'll be blown away. So take it easy. Look after yourselves. Look after your families. Remember to get into your toy rooms. And remember, what do Andrew and I always say? Keep on collecting. Catch you later. Thanks for watching, everybody.